So yeah, as you may know, it's really easy to get tied into as you may or may not know, it's really easy to get tied into a the hell's that noise? It's really easy to get tied into a community on YouTube. I'm tied into the atheist community right now, which is where I'd like to stay. About a month back, I thought I'd like to stay in this community of going to the gym and eating a lot of protein. Um, doing all these supplements for muscle gain and caffeine and all that stuff and body fat percentage and all this, crap. But I mean, it was basically just eating the meat again. And I got really brainwashed into, I wouldn't say brainwashed, but I would say influenced into, um, I got influenced into wanting to live the lifestyle of, of you guys. So yeah, I can't, I mean, I couldn't do it. It didn't last very long. I mean, I got really close to my brother, and I got to meet you guys and everything, but it just wasn't. I don't know. It just wasn't that great for me. But it was cool that it been tied in with like the relationship I had with you guys. It was tied in with veganism, and it was cool how you guys actually did try to bring a little bit of vegan influence into your channel, um, and your subscribers and everything. But I just didn't like how you guys would basically compare, or how you guys were just so, being educated and everything. I mean, I know it was just accounting, but it wasn't like, you guys were stupid or anything. Like, you guys had an education and you were in the military and everything. I know the military can really get you, just bring everything into sort of an influence in your existence. Everything can just be influential, so to speak. I can't imagine what it's like having PTSD or anything like that coming back from, like a real war. I just can't imagine it. I don't want to imagine it. I see it on movies and stuff like that. I see it in, other people around me. It screws them up, but I just I had a dream before I met you guys, about meeting you guys, and it was just like I was in the Durian Rider sort of influence. Like, I wanted to meet Durian Rider, and I wanted to go meet him and go to Thailand and everything. And nobody probably really knows anything about that if they're into the Hodgetwins. But yeah, like I wanted to, meet the most popular vegan on YouTube as much as I wanted to meet, the most popular bodybuilders on YouTube. And that was just all because of influence. But it meant something to me that I was influenced by a vegan to actually subscribe to you guys. And within a couple of weeks, I'd met you guys, and it was, it did take a lot. Not really, but it took a substantial amount of energy, for everything to come into my life and for my life to work out the way it did, for me to actually meet, you guys, the Hodge twins and everything. For people watching this, like, I think the Hodge twins are great guys and everything, but I just think at this point, in time, when you're not taking everything so seriously, or, you're one of these like Fox News, like Donald Trump conservative types that the Hodge twins like to say they are or claim they are. Like, I'm not trying to find as much comedy out of something anymore that just shouldn't be comical, like having kids or something like that. So I just can't sit here and laugh about my past, for the rest of my life. I still want to keep making them gains, and I want to make all kinds of gains and everything, but I want to do it on my own time. I don't want to have to be a part of, I want to have the home gym and just sort of do it by myself when I want, when I can. so to speak. I don't want to have to make this valiant effort to go to the gym and try to impress people anymore. It's just not like it. I'd still like to watch your videos on YouTube from time to time, but I just don't really have a necessity for it anymore. The way I feel degraded, it's just very degrading hearing what you're doing wrong or just making light of your defects, so to speak. Like whether it's whacking off the porn or whatever it is, it just takes a toll on you after a while, or actually having a mental disorder. So because conservative types, just like to totally throw mental disorders aside. Guns don't kill people, people kill people, and people just need to be judged and all that shit. And so God is another subject, though I would like to get back into another atheist talk, but I just had to make this video before I got into anything else and just say, yeah, this is why I'm cutting ties with you guys. This is why I'm cutting ties with the Hodgetwins. Like, if they don't have any room for, you know, animals or consciousness at this point, and it's all just like a game. Because their comedy show was really funny, but I felt like it was more of like an energy. It was more of like a movement, that um was either going to reach a peak or potentially had reached its peak. So I'd love to see the Hodgetwins on Netflix, like a Netflix comedy special, and say like, yeah, I got to shake their hands, and that's so cool. And yeah, they're on Netflix, but it's just not the same, and I can't really be realistic. I mean, they had even liked an Instagram post that I had made saying this was one of the top five moments of my life, being with my little brother and being able to meet the Hodgetwins. And it's true, like, but it had a lot to do with my subconscious, just how cool it was to be able to like finally meet somebody actually famous. Like, the feeling I got when I was in high school, and I would meet like, I think I met like this famous Redskins football player in the Washington D.C. area. Nothing too big, but it was something like that. It was sort of like a childhood experience, being 26. So it was, really cool to be able to exchange energy like that. But it just, and I'm not going to take anything for granted that they have taught me in the past or anything like that, but I just think they could be a little bit more ethical in their decisions, especially when it comes to veganism and all that stuff. And it's just ain't all about, the protein and all that stuff. And, so it should be a little bit more, just, you know, there just should be more political action through them, and not just sort of like this uh dark comedy. Because another thing I was going to mention earlier was like, George Carlin was like my favorite comedian of all time. And it was like, if I could have said anything to, the Hodge twins when I'd met them, I would have just said like, have you ever heard of George Carlin? Or just like, looking at George Carlin, he's like just sort of like this totally like liberal sort of dude, this real dark, like black comedy, it was sort of called. And um he had 3 heart attacks, so maybe it'll take 3 heart attacks for the Hodge twins to go down and in supremacy or have a legacy or something like that. But I just don't think that that should be necessary. And I think that people with bigger following should have more of an ethical sort of view, more of a liberal, liberating point of view than this, skeptical, traditional, uh, paranoid sort of view. So, it was great meeting you guys. It was great meeting them, honestly, but I just can't um, continue to watch them or be a part of them or fork over $3, 10 cents a day to them. They're just not worth 10 cents a day to me. I mean, with the state of the economy and all that shit. So Yeah, peace out.